Okay, hello everybody and welcome to this video lecture on the lecture notes for the operations research Octave with Spice. We are in chapter 1, that is installing GNU Octave, and now in the part 2, getting help. So, how do you get help on GNU Octave when you run into problems? And well, the most obvious way of getting help is to switch the so-called documentation tab that is next to the command window tab at the bottom of your GNU Octave GUI window. So what does this mean? Well, let's open Octave. So remember, it's something like this red circle, I suppose, tilted circle, and whatever that is supposed to mean, I don't know. So this is how your Octave will look like. Okay, it will depend a little bit on your setup, so maybe maybe it looks slightly different, I don't know. So here this is the command window here where the focus is now, since the cursor there is blinking. And here we see that this is the command window tab. Look at the bottom here. So then there is this tab documentation, which looks, well, now we have a lot of windows, so it's rather small. So let me actually make those a bit smaller. And here, let's see if Control Plus works. It works. So here what you have is actually the GNU Octave manual, and for me it's version 6.2.0. If you install a new one, then it's a new one. This can be found from the internet, also from the Octave web page. In any case, it's here. So this is really a book. So here is a table of contents. Then there is, of course, the good thing about this electronic books are, so you have a search function here, so you can search for something. And then what I actually find the most convenient is the function index. So it actually happens often that you have an idea of the function, but you don't know actually how it works. So here from the function index, you can just search for the function and see how it works. So this is the most obvious way of getting help. Well, I mean, the most obvious way, of course, is to ask me during the weekly Zoom sessions, but if you need help immediately, then this is the way to do it. Okay. As I said, this manual for Octave, I mean version 6.2.0, if you click here, it opens the link. And here is, well, this is the same thing. So if you want to read it online for some reason and not from the Octave window, you can do that also. Okay. So the newer version 6.3.0, where to find the corresponding manual for that, I let it for you to guess. It's not a difficult thing to guess. Then also there is a rather nice community of Octave users that have wiki pages. So here is a link for those. So I'll just show you what they look like. Okay, the net is not so fast. So there is a GNU Octave wiki. So there are just also introduction for installing and getting help and so on. So this is a page where you also can find help, and of course FAQ, frequently asked questions, there is the good place to start. So there is a lot of information there, and well, maybe you need it, probably not. I mean, we are not using Octave in this course except for a very limited, in a very limited manner, basically solving LPs, and I will of course in these notes explain how to do that. But just in case if you run into problems. Oh, sorry, this was the wiki pages. Octave community is this Octave this course group. So here you have also lots there you can ask questions on the community online. You will probably not need this, but if you are interested in going deeper into Octave and you run into problems, there are lots of guys there who know their business. So I really encourage to use this if you have advanced questions. Okay, then finally, and this is something that probably in this course you will be mostly using, is the help function. So in the Octave command window or console, if you know already you know you want to use a function or something like that, but you don't exactly know how it works, of course you can open here, sorry, wrong window, this function index and search for there. Nothing wrong with that, you can do it that way. I usually want to basically almost always work with the console, and then I can ask for help. So let's have our first example now. So help on tan, and yeah, let me not make a stupid pun on a beach and so on. So tan is the tangent function here, and let's just suppose for the sake of example that we want to solve an equation tangent of x is 0.5. So 1.4 is the running number of this equation. So before doing anything, one way of looking at this is formally as a mathematician. You said, okay, formally the solution is x is tan inverse 0.5. I mean, tan is a function. I take an inverse function on both sides. Then it means that tan inverse of tan is just x, and then here we have a tan inverse of 0.5. Okay, so far so good. So what? Well, the problem is that this was just formalism. I mean, you know, f to power minus 1 when f is any function is the inverse of it. But can we, first of all, how to write this tan to the power minus 1 in Octave? Well, you might want to guess at something like that, tan to the power minus 1. Okay, let's try. Why not? It's always a good idea to try to see if something that you think that looks mathematically correct, would it work? Why not? Let's try. Yeah, okay. Pass error, syntax error. Obviously everything went wrong. So let's continue thinking a little bit what would be the correct solution. Well, one thing that went wrong there is that these trigonometric functions, and especially the inverses, they have funny names. I mean, the reason is that the trigonometric functions are ancient, and there is a lot of historical baggage, and the names and the notation, they are just, if you as a modern day scientist, they look just stupid, because they in some sense they are, but there is nothing we can do about it. So the first thing even is this inverse. It's not, probably it's not like this. And also there is a problem with this formula here, is that, okay, so what does is a tan to the power minus 1? Why? What it means? Some might interpret this as 1 over tan y. Yeah, this is not what we want it to mean. So how do we solve something like that? And of course, what it now boils down is pretty much what is this inverse function? And for that, the good thing is to ask, okay, so we know that the tan function is somehow involved. Let's ask help for tan. And now we got help. And let's see. So this is how we wrote it, and then we got this kind of help text. Let us very, very shortly analyze what is going on here, because the help texts are typically like, they follow a certain format, and this is the format, and this is relatively short. So first is set that tan in hyphens. So this function is a built-in function, and then it tells you something like a file where it is. We don't really care about this. Then there is a very short with these two minus signs. There's tan or z computer tangent of each element of x in radians. Here you can know that there is a typo, so either this should be x or this should be z. So this is unfortunately very common. These help files are sometimes there are mistakes there. Sorry about that. Well, I mean, it's not my fault, but also maybe it's good that we notice that there is this mistake here, so that you will understand that there are people who make these help files and people who make these functions, and people make mistakes. Okay, so there is C also, A tan H, whatever that means. Actually, this is something that we will soon look at closer. Okay, then there is, this is a tradition. The rest of here is always in the end. Every help, if you type help, you will get this in the end. Additional help for built-in functions and operators is available online version manual. Then there is this doc on topic also, not only help. Well, that is searching manual index, so it's basically the same as looking at this. We are not going to use that here. And then there is the additional information from the, you can either write to help@octave.org, and yeah, okay, this is standard. Okay, but so what is here now? Now we have to maybe to see also, this is something that we should search for. So it gives us 3 apparently functions that are related, and I have no idea. Well, I have an idea, but let's not go there. What this tand and tand are, but this atan, this looks vaguely familiar. So if you remember from the school, then usually the inverses of functions, trigonometric functions, are called arcus functions. So this A is short for arcus, and atan, let us get, it's a reasonable guess that that's actually the inverse of tan. Well, is it? Well, let's ask help for that. Help atan, help arcus tan. And what does it says there? Okay. Again, the same thing. It's a built-in function from there. Some how to use. But this is, here you say atan x. Compute the inverse tangent in radians, but I mean everything is always in radians. I don't see any reason to use any other units than the radians. Goes without saying. So inverse tangent, okay, of each element of x. This has to do some about so-called vectorized code, but let's not worry about that. So this is probably the atan is what we are looking for. So let's now get shortly back to the notes. So here is the same help text that we got from the console, and for the atan also. So now it seems that here is actually the solution. So let's look at the 1.4. It was this tangent x is 0.5. So would something like, okay, now I do a trick, so I clear the console, so that there are a lot of text here. I don't like it. I press Ctrl L. It just clears the visual console, not the command history. So let's, so atan 0.5. This is what we expect to be the solution. So x is tangent of x is 0.5. So x is atan 0.5. And what happened here? Error atan argument must be numeric. So error happens, and atan arcus tangent function gave us an error that its argument must be numeric. So argument is, yeah, of course, what we put in the function. Well, 0.5, this is numeric. What happened? And this is something that again, boils down to the fact that trigonometric functions have stupid or antiquated notation. So of course the problem is here that we are used to writing tangent and then just the argument here, while here, as you see, the argument is in parentheses. So we usually don't write fx, but f in parentheses the x. So that's the minor problem here. So I press arrow up, so I get the previous command, and let's put parentheses around this 0.5, and we get the correct solution. So this happens to be the solution. And also, if we look at the, let's type the help 8 and again. Okay, for some reason in these help files that there is a space between the parentheses and the x. What does that mean? Let's try putting space there. Okay, it's the same. So you can have there an extra space or not, it doesn't matter. But the parentheses are mandatory. Those you must have them. Very well. So this is an example of how to use this help function. And that was the last part of chapter 1. So how to install Octave and where to look for help when needed. So I hope this was helpful. So now you all have Octave installed in your system, and you have an idea where to look for help when needed. So see you in the next video lecture. Bye bye.